Hello everybody, welcome to my first booktube video. My name's Adam. I've made lots of videos before, but not booktube videos, so this is the first time I'm taking a go at talking about books. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the books that I'm just really excited to read in 2020. It's like a TBR, but for the whole year, which is already destined to change. But yeah, like a 2020 TBR. I have a list here in my notebook, and I'm going to start talking. Of course, the first book that I'm going to talk about is downstairs. First off is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This year in 2019 I started reading Harry Potter for the first time ever. It was really popular when I was younger, but I just never watched the movies, I never read the books. I wasn't that much of a reader when I was little, but yeah, I also never saw the movies, so just completely missed the boat on this one. But yeah, this year I started reading the series. I read the first 2 books, and I started the 3rd book, Prisoner of Azkaban. I got 58 pages in, and then not that I didn't like it, just got excited to read other things and started reading other things. But I will hopefully get through the whole series this year. I don't own every copy. In fact, I only own the first book. The rest of them I've borrowed. This is borrowed. But hopefully I'll get one of those like nice box sets. I already want the box set. The box set with like Hogwarts with, I don't know if it's snow on top, but it kind of looks white. And it's like the whole box set, but the spines all look like the building and everything. It's very nice. Although obviously, as you can tell, I have no space at all. There is another shelf above the shot that you can't see. It's full. Everything's full. I have a big stack. I've just resorted to just piling them up. So soon I'll be getting a little bit of an expansion to my bookshelf, but for now there is no room for a box set. Not at all. The next book that I'm going to talk about is It by Stephen King. This is a pretty big book. Listen, this is the drop test of like how, when you have a thick book, you want to hear the drop test. Listen carefully. That's the noise it makes when you drop it. That's a meaty one, okay? That's a meaty one. I watched the movies. I hear the ending is different in the books. I like that. I meant to read it in October for like Halloween spooky vibes, but I had other things that I wanted to read, I guess, and I never got to it. I've read one other Stephen King book and that's it. I've read Pet Sematary, which is right there, and I really loved it. And this is what most people say is like one of the like best entries into Stephen King universe, right? It's a big one, right? So if you're able to sit through it, then it's a good entry. If not, then Pet Sematary really, I guess, is the entry because that's the first one I read. But number 2. Big one. Some month I'll have to cut out for this book here. Maybe it'll be October next year. Who knows? We'll see. And if any of you watching are going to read the same books as me this year, let me know down below because I'd love to hear it. And let me know what you're excited to read in the new year and early on January, you know. What's your next few books you're going to read? The next book I'm going to talk about is A Feast for Crows. Feast for Crows? A Feast for Crows by George R. R. Martin. I've read, obviously this is book number 4, so I've read books 1 through 3. Makes sense? They're right here. I really love the series. I hear some people say that his writing isn't so digestible. I don't think so. I think it's pretty digestible. Maybe just because you're in the flow of it. The last book was 1,200 pages long, and the text was very tiny. But this is only 900 pages long, and the text is much bigger. So I think this won't take that long to read. No matter what, it's still a big book. Like it's 900 pages still. I shouldn't say it's only 900, but less than the other one. And I'm excited to be caught up in the Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire world because I'm really scared of spoilers. I feel like every time I even like try to talk about Game of Thrones or try to talk about the books, I get spoiled for something. Or like if I look up one thing, I get spoiled for something. You know? And so eventually it kind of feels like, what's there left to be spoiled? I don't even know if there's anything else left. I mean, I understand. It's still great to read the books. In fact, I watched the show up until season 3. And then I started reading the books years later. I started reading the first book, Game of Thrones, in June of 2019. And so yeah, I made it through 3 books. But yeah, definitely excited to get through this one. And the next one, A Dance with Dragons. The next book I'm going to talk about is a little bit of a different one. It's Python Crash Course. For dummies? No. Python Crash Course. So I've been meaning to learn Python for a long time. In fact, I'm applying for Ryerson Computer Science. And so I'm definitely interested. I just never got around to it. I have so many things I like to do, and I just never got around to Python and programming in general. Python's my introduction to programming, and this book is my introduction to Python. I really carefully chose the book that I wanted to learn Python from because I tried online to learn Python, and I definitely got some skill from there. In fact, the first maybe third of this book I kind of already know, but I don't mind. I like to relearn things, solidify the knowledge. But I felt that the best way for me to learn is through project, and I feel like that through everything. I feel like when I learn math, I always want to do as many problems as I can, like, use what I just learned. And so that's what this book really is. Every time they teach a new concept, there's a little try yourself section, and it's super simple because, you're introducing like one thing, right? So it's super simple, but you just use it right away. It's not just reading and then you try to remember when you're making the program. It's right away you use the new function, or whatever it is, that the book taught you. As you can see, I've annotated a little bit. I don't really annotate books that much, but this is a learning book, right? So I annotate this one. And what I really love about this book is that there's 3 major projects inside of it. The first quarter of the book is teaching the fundamentals of Python. The next part is building a small game, it's kind of like a Space Invaders kind of game, I think. I don't really know. Obviously, I'm going to get there soon. The third part is about data visualization, taking large sets of data and trying to understand it, which is something really interesting to me. And the third part is making a website, I'm pretty sure. It's some sort of website application for, you can have users with different accounts and stuff like that. And it introduces you to Django, I think that's how you say it, which I've heard about before and I learned a little bit about. Anyways, I just think all the major projects in this book really interest me, and I'm obviously really interested in the topic. I've been going through about 25 pages a day. That's about, only for a few days. I'm at page, I think 75, so let's just say 75. Yeah, something like that. So I felt like I've learned a lot already. Anyways, I'm really excited to keep learning Python throughout 2020. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Great Hunt, which I don't own, but I do own The Wheel of Time, which is the first book in the series, and I'm almost done. I have just a little bit left. That's it. I think I have about just over 100 pages left. When I first saw this series in a bookstore, I just sort of immediately looked at it and just thought it was one of those weird romance fantasies. I don't know why. That's just what I thought. It was I thought it was low quality, low tier. I knew there was 15 books, which put me off because I thought how did he just pump out 15 books? What's going on? But then I started watching this YouTuber named Daniel Green, and it's his #1 series. And I was like, wow, well, I guess I judged it wrong, right? So I decided to pick up the first book, and honestly, I don't know if I can say I get it if I've only read part of the first, almost the whole first book, and there's 15 books. But I think that at least I'm starting to see why this is such an amazing series. Now, this isn't a book review for The Eye of the World, there's no spoilers or anything like that, but I think the character work in this series is really, really well done, and I'm excited to learn more about different cultures in the world, which is what I think the main big focus of why Daniel Green really likes the series is because the use of cultures, how they're really well put together, and the world building is really, really good. Now, we didn't get too much of that in this book, so that's why I can't say really I get it, because obviously I've only read the first book, almost, but I'm definitely excited to read further books in the series. I can't say I'm going to read all 15 books. That's quite an undertaking, maybe in my life, but not in 2020. Keep almost saying 2019. But I am excited to get through the second book in 2020. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Oh, I have not been saying the names of the authors, have I? Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling, It by Stephen King, I think I said that one. I said the Game of Thrones one. Python book, it's called Python Crash Course, a hands-on project-based introduction to programming by Eric Matthews, and The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Next, I'm going to talk about The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I've actually read this book before, but this was I think two and a half years ago maybe. And I really don't remember what goes on in it. And I want to get to the next book in the series and the little mini book after that. And I want to be ready for, this is a series, I think I really enjoyed it, and I really like the idea of it. I seem to remember there was a romance in it, I'm pretty sure. And I've been kind of feeling I don't know, I feel like I want to read a fantasy, a good fantasy series with a little romance in it. I don't know, I've just been feeling that, okay? I remember some details, but it could use a reread. I think I'd enjoy it, and I want to get on in the series. This book is one of my most destroyed books. Obviously, I don't really take care of the books while I'm reading it. I like to just it's my book, I'm reading it, I'll do whatever I want with it. This is a pretty destroyed one. Now, okay, I don't think it's my most destroyed one. I think the third Game of Thrones book is the most destroyed one, but this one has rabbit. We had a rabbit for a few weeks, we were taking care of someone's rabbit. And it bit at the book. Got lots of bites here. That's what these are. And obviously the spine's all cracked and the cover's a little ripped. But, it's my book. I can do whatever I want. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I almost forgot the name. I don't really know much about the actual plot of this. I know there's something called a desolation. That's all I know. But it is one of the highest rated fantasy books ever. And I've heard nothing but amazing, amazing reviews about this book from Daniel Green and from many other fantasy YouTubers. It's a pretty big one too, but I don't mind. I got the big copy, not the pocketbook copy, because this one has a lot of nice art in it, and every, I don't know how many pages, it has a full page piece of art. There's another one there, and I'm sure somehow it ties into the story, obviously. I don't know, because I didn't read it. This is planned to be a 10-book series. Again, it's one of those things, I can't say I'm going to read all 10 books, but I can say I'm excited to read this first book. I've never read any Brandon Sanderson, but I've heard amazing things about him, and I've heard he's quite similar in writing style to Robert Jordan, the author of Wheel of Time. Of course, Brandon Sanderson finished The Wheel of Time, so I'm very excited to read this. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. Obviously, everybody knows The Wizard of Oz. Great movie. I love the movie. Childhood movie. I feel like a salesman. It's a pretty short book. Wow, very short. Wow. It's 130 pages long. I should read this soon actually, because why not? I think the cover is beautiful. I got the special edition. It's like a little bit of a weird fabric. I don't know. I don't really like the fabric that much, but it's okay. You know what? I'll deal with it. Oh, I just realized does my eye look like black because of the lighting? Should I turn like this a little bit? Oh no, is my eye like in a major shadow? Should I turn this a little bit this way? Whoa. That's not the solution. Okay, you know what? Maybe my it looks pitch black here. I'll just face this way. Hey everybody, welcome to my video. Obviously, I know the story, I love the story. I read a kind of like a spin-off novel, it's called Dorothy Must Die. It's like a young adult. I read this a few years ago, well, I guess a year and a half ago. It was fine, it wasn't, I don't know. It was fine. But I felt like, if I'm reading that, I should read the original story if I'm going to start reading spin-offs of it. I got this at a used bookstore, but obviously this is not a used copy, this is a new copy. And the guy there told me apparently it's a series, it's a long series, I didn't know that. So I'm interested in the series and to see, where else it goes. The next book I want to talk about is The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. This is the first book in the Witcher series. I'm a huge fan of The Witcher, the games, I love them. And I've actually read the whole series up until I think the 4th book. Yeah, the 4th book in the saga. So I've read 5 books and I started the 6th book. This is the short story compilation that starts everything. This is actually the book that got me into reading in the first place. I used to play games, really, that was my hobby. And occasionally I still do, but really this is what got me into reading. So yeah, it's a short story compilation. It actually has the first short story is called The Witcher. Yeah, the first short story is called The Witcher, which is, I'm quite certain, is what Andrzej Sapkowski submitted to a short story competition. And I think he won 2nd place or something like that, and from there, he evolved the rest of the story of The Witcher and the saga and everything like that. I read the series a while ago and I feel like my judgment of books is, I think I have a better ability to critique books now, especially than I did then, because I really hadn't read that many books back then, and I really haven't read that many books still now, but more than before. And I feel like now I can look at it with a different kind of lens and hopefully get through it, finish it. I got too bored on the 4th book. Not the last book. But I own the next book, I own the 5th book in the saga, and Season of Storms has come out recently, and I don't know, I just love the series, and I love the feeling of it, I love the vibe of it, so I'm definitely excited to get back into this. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Hero at the Fall, and if you can see the cover, it's pretty destroyed too. I did start reading this, I got 40 pages into it. This is a young adult, pretty bad reviews I think, I don't know how good it is, but this is the 3rd book in a series. For nostalgia's sake, just like The Last Wish, I read the 1st book when I was just getting into reading, and so it came out right about that same time, and so I read the 2nd book, and so I really liked it, and I read the 2nd book, and I also liked it, and I got to this book, and I only got 40 pages in, because I also kind of forgot everything. Even if it's not the best series, for me, I'd like to finish a series just so I can say, it was like my first real full book series that I bought every book right when it came out, and I was excited for the next one. I'm excited to read this one. I know I feel like I'm saying it's bad, but it's a young adult, maybe it has problems, I don't really know. I read the first 2 books a while ago. I forgot to say by Alwyn Hamilton. The series is called Rebel of the Sands, and it's a magic wielding, but you can control the sand and you're in a desert. And it's really cool. I think the magic's really cool. And the family, I remember the family relations being interesting, and I like the characters. I don't really know what more to say about it. I can't really remember everything, but I am excited to get back into it and finish the series. I'm holding this book a little weird now, aren't I? The next book I'm excited to talk about is The Lies of Locke Lamora. But I don't have Lies of Locke Lamora. I have the 2nd book in the series, Red Seas Under Red Skies, because I'm an idiot. Somehow I managed to buy the 2nd book instead of the 1st book. I don't know how. I bought this book a while ago. I think I keep saying a while ago. I feel like I did a lot of book things a while ago. I don't know why. And as well as Daniel Green, another book tour I watch whose name is Murphy Napier. Both of them have very good things to say about this series. I think it's a heist series that takes place just within one city. Pirate themed, I guess. I don't know. Ships. So I'm very excited to read the 1st book in the series, not the 2nd book, obviously. The next book I'm excited to read is The Golden Ratio by Mario Livio. This is a math book, obviously, it's a non-fiction. It's about the number 5. I saw this in a used bookstore and I just thought it was really interesting. I read the 1st chapter. Okay, a little dry, but it's just the 1st chapter. I'm definitely excited to learn more about this amazing number. If you don't know much about it, it's called The Golden Ratio, obviously, or 5. The actual number is, I can't find it here, 1.61803, and it's a very important number. Well, important isn't the word, but it's a very recurring number and a ratio that you find in nature. And it dictates a lot of natural phenomenons and how things are built, like from plants to the solar system, to the galaxy and how everything forms. It follows a certain rule, and that rule is dictated by the golden ratio. It's a very brief, kind of weird explanation of it, but look it up if you're interested. There's lots of videos on it. So I'm very excited to get more into this and learn much more about this amazing number. And that's everything for today. That's all the books I'm going to talk about. I'm not sure how many books that was. 11 books. I could have made it 10, but 11, I guess, sure. So these are my 11 books that I'm really excited to get right into in 2020. I think I'm setting a reading goal for 20 books for 2020. I didn't even do that on purpose. I just realized 20 books for 2020. Also just, that's what I want to be the number. This year was 15, and I think I'll just make it. I'm going to finish The Eye of the World, and I'm going to read maybe a short book. But I think I can do it for 2020 and get 20 books if I keep reading, throughout the year, don't take a break. 2019, I took a break from like January to June, so it was a pretty big break. But then I read Game of Thrones, and it kind of got me back into reading. So yeah, I think 20 books for 2020 is good for me. What about you? Let me know down below what books you're really excited to get right into in 2020, and what's your reading goal? Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about books. I love talking about books. I love my bookshelves. I have too many books. I need more book space. Thank you everybody for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you all in the next video. Bye bye.